This is News 6 Tonight.
Big night here on News 6 Tonight. And when I say big, I mean shoulders. Like, look at this Adonis over here. We've got Eric Von Aken, incredible journalist. We were just talking the last time you and I anchored together. It was not on set. It was a field anchoring journey. I had to remind him because it was that memorable for him.
Do you remember the year?
2012? 11. What was it?
I think it was 2011.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was
so
one of those.
memorable. Matt didn't remember the year.
So it was the shuttle Atlantis. It
Yep.
landed right behind us. It was the last shuttle
incredible.
landing. It was a pretty amazing time, actually. I enjoyed that a lot.
What made it better was that Matt was out there. He told me tonight was a big night. I said, who are you going to have on the show tonight?
This guy.
Oh.
Eric Von Aken. So excited to have
here.
you on here.
Glad
We're
to be
going to
here
talk
with
about one of your stories coming up in a little bit. We're going to start, though, with a little crazy out on the seas, my friend. Okay, so have you ever been on a boat with 7,600 of your closest friends?
After a few days, they become that, yeah.
Right. And then chaos just breaks out. So somebody was on a slide. This is the icon of the seas, known as the world's largest cruise ship. Quite a debacle happened over there. Somebody goes down this very tall slide, and as they're going down the slide, I guess they have glass sections of it.
Acrylic, yeah.
Acrylic. There
Plastic, clear plastic, yeah.
And it cracks. You would think they would have gone through a lot of testing, and this is a pretty new ship. That thing cracked with somebody sliding right over it, and it sounds like it hurt them.
One of the newest ships, certainly one of the most expensive ever built. We were on, it wasn't Icon, I think it was Wonder of the Seas, just last year, or earlier this year. Yeah, went with the family. It didn't go on that slide that time, but I have been through those slides with my kids on some of the other ships. And one of the ship that I was on, you take a raft down. I don't know if this one did.
Yeah.
But you're going, Matt. You're going through the tunnel of the slide, and you're looking at the clear sections.
There it is.
So the clear sections you can see out, and you're going over it. You can't really tell what's below
probably pretty cool.
you. It's amazing. But I will tell you, I started to wonder. Wow, how well built is this thing? And this slide, I can't tell if it goes out over the ocean. Ours did. Some of these rides, that they build off the side of cruise ships.
Yeah,
they're out over the ocean.
Off the side.
The roller coasters.
Can you imagine if one cracked and you fell off the side of the cruise ship?
Do we know if a person actually fell out of this?
No. So
we heard a person was injured, right?
It sounds like the initial reports, they just said injured.
Right.
Some people are reporting that they got sliced.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was the initial person who cracked it and then somebody else came through. But definitely a big crack in that acrylic for that slide.
Which
is wild.
As you know, much debate about the registration of cruise ships, right? And we know some of the administrations have tried to force cruise ships to register themselves in the United States. So a lot of this is about paying taxes.
Sure.
And that's a lot of the reason why the cruise ships don't, because they're not forced to pay the dues that they might if they were registered in the United States, but also rules, laws, inspections, right? So what I don't know, and something we should be investigating, and I know people are over the next few days, is what kind of inspections were done on this slide if this vessel, and Royal Caribbean does not register, it's also one of them that does not register its ships in the United States. Yeah. What kind of inspections was it required to do on the slide, either before it opened or regularly? Do they check it every week, every month? Are they required to?
That's a really good question. Now, you're a cruiser, it sounds like.
I am, yeah.
I don't understand that they keep making bigger and bigger cruise ships, and they think it's going to make you excited to be on with more people.
Because there's more to do.
The more people you add to the ship, the less desirable I find it. I feel like you're adding just more crazy into your life. But do you tell me the theory here?
So I do think there's a limit, right? I do think when you cross that threshold, there's just too many people. At the pool, we've seen some of the horror pictures of just, what you think the pool is going to be like, but then what it's really
packed
like.
with people, yeah.
But they've done a decent job at adding things like neighborhoods on larger ships. So if you space out the people enough in enough of those spots, it's not so bad.
Yeah. Okay.
It is cool that there are so many things to do. I'll say that.
A lot of people are like you and enjoy it, and so many that a new ship, the Star of the Seas, which is the same size, it's one of these gigantic classes of ships. It starts sailing on August 31st. So Most people are apparently not like me. I like to avoid the crowds. I don't want a bunch of guests on the ship with me. So
Depends on your preference.
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Here's another strange one. I know you've heard about this missing 18-year-old story, which has been getting some headlines, and there was a big press conference about this today. By the way, those of you commenting, we appreciate you. Sue from Nova Scotia watching tonight.
Wow. What does Sue think about cruising? Sue, I'd love to know.
Yeah,
Tell
let us know,
please.
Sue.
Yeah.
One of our few fans from Nova Scotia,
Okay.
but we're working to crack into that market. So this guy Giovanni Pelletier, he was vacationing in Inglewood,
Right.
and he was driving on I-75 with 3 of his friends.
Right.
Right. These friends are from Brevard County. All of a sudden, they say he started acting erratic,
Right.
acting strange. They pull the car over.
This was in the middle of the night, by the way. They left at
1:30
1:30.
in the morning.
Right.
Right. Gets out of the car. Nobody's seen him since. It's a very strange story. All of his stuff, backpack, cell phone, all of it left there. Let's give you a little taste of what's going on here, because the Brevard sheriff held a press conference today
Right.
about why they're not involved in this, really. They're just maybe assisting Manatee County or maybe Charlotte County. James Sparvero spoke with the sheriff. Let's listen.
Sheriff Wayne Ivey actually called me before this press conference, and he said he wanted to address the criticism his sheriff's office is facing from some people. Those in Giovanni Pelletier's family who've told me they'd like to see more in a search effort from authorities.
We haven't really heard much.
The sheriff says what it all boils down to is it's not their case, it's Charlotte County's.
No evidence, no indication in any capacity that Giovanni Pelletier ever came to Brevard County.
I reached out to Charlotte County this week after my initial story on Monday, and they told me they would not be doing any interviews. Even if there is no foul play, how can someone disappear? Is there any explanation for that in this day and age with technology?
I mean, obviously, there's certainly great concern for this young man's safety, especially as time goes on. To just, not know where he's at this point, hopefully some type of evidence is going to lead us to that point.
To be fair, if you're in Brevard County, and the sheriff said this earlier today, if you're in Brevard County and you're in law enforcement, where do you check? There was a report of a car that might have been linked to this investigation, and the sheriff said that they tracked down the car, and the car hadn't been moved in some time. There was, I guess, rust on the brakes. Right? It was clear this car had not been driven.
Yeah.
So they ruled very quickly that this was not part of, in any capacity, the investigation. So then what? And
What more could they do?
Right. Yeah. And if everything is based in Southwest Florida, in Manatee County, what can you do? And where could you even tell someone to search in Brevard County? And that's not to say that Brevard County Sheriff's Office shouldn't assist in Manatee County.
Sure.
But this is why you have sheriff's offices in different counties, right? If it's in your county, it's your problem.
You take care of it. Yeah. And it sounds like the people in the car with him were from Brevard County, so maybe that's how Brevard got
That's the
mixed up
connection.
into this.
That's the connection, because they were coming here.
Yes, and they were headed in this direction,
Right.
so they think maybe he somehow got here. I mean,
Right.
that would be quite the walk.
Right.
But the real scary thing is, where is this young man? Hopefully he's okay, and they'll be able to find him.
And some of those young people, I think, echoed. I'm sorry, it was the volunteers searching. We had a story over the weekend where some of them said, "quote We know how these things go." And so if you get out of a car, you're acting erratically, it's in the middle of the night, obviously they're very concerned for his safety.
Sure.
If he disappears into the woods or just disappears.
Yeah, you can understand that, absolutely. You also had a story air today that I found interesting, because every community in Florida seems to have an issue with flooding. Everybody's worried. And then you have these canals that just get lodged up with debris and all this other junk, and then they become useless in some cases, and somebody's got to pay to clear them out. You had a local community that you cover, by the way, community correspondent for Winter Springs, which is your home. You've lived there for a really long time. Nobody knows that community better than you do.
Yeah, thank you.
And so you had this story, which I found fascinating, because it really relates to a lot of other communities.
It's funny. I'll give you more on that in Winter Springs, but I also cover Oviedo.
Yeah.
And Matt, I have not gotten more comments from people, complaints and comments from people about their creeks in Oviedo being clean, because they're not. Then in the last few months, then I compared to, the last several years, I've been here 22 years. It's the past year, the past really year and a half, maybe 2 years, where people have realized, whoa, I got flooding in my neighborhood. I don't know where this is coming from. I've seen some development down the road, which we've talked a lot about because,
Right.
Developments go in. They
And they
take
always
up,
blame the new development, and sometimes I'm sure that is the case, but not always.
they take up area that water might have run off into previously, right? So, I mean, it's not rocket science. If you pave over something, the ground,
It's not absorbing it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. But people are realizing, well, wait a second, we're having problems in our neighborhood that seemingly came out of nowhere. And so we have these creeks that I guess used to be clear, or at least clearer. They used to do something, but now they're not helping, and they look clogged. And so we want them cleaned out. But then the conversation is who's supposed to clean them
pays
out.
for that?
Right.
Yeah.
And so many people have told me, the city used to clean them out. And I don't even know that if they're sure that the city did. But the bottom line is there are creeks and canals that run throughout most cities that if they're not maintained, they don't help the flooding problem. And in Winter Springs, there's 5 in particular. One of them, or 1 or 2 of them, they're fairly large, fairly long. They run throughout the city, and they were just a mess. I mean, they were overgrown. The city didn't pay attention to them. The trash was in them. Trees had fallen down. And so the city got a wake-up call and a really hard lesson in Hurricane Ian 2022 when these creeks didn't function as they always did.
Right.
Essentially, canals that drain water into Lake Jesup. But when the water came down hard and fast and they filled up those canals and it stopped in the canals, so then what happens? It overflows onto the street and up towards people's houses. So the city realized, we got to fix this. A lot of cities are realizing this right now.
Yeah.
Winter Springs didn't have the money, much like Oviedo has been struggling. They're raising rates, struggling to figure out how do we fund all these stormwater projects. Winter Springs got a federal grant, and they decided this was a priority. So they attacked it in June, and they just got done with the debris clean out yesterday.
And it's not always the city, right? Because sometimes it's the St. John's Water Management District who has to regulate these bodies of water, and it can get complicated.
So where most people are affected, those are municipalities.
Okay.
Because they're densely populated, right? So like in the heart of Winter Springs, there's a lot of houses. And these creeks run right through the center of Winter Springs. These are heavily populated residential neighborhoods. We've covered flooding along the St. John's, much more rural area. So when you get out east, especially in Seminole County, you get to Geneva. There's a few houses there along the river.
Yeah.
And when that river rises, those people are in trouble. But it's not really a shock. And there are not a whole lot of houses. But these creeks, I mean, they are people no one really realized
Start
until that
seeping
storm.
into a big neighborhood and
It was a
hitting
tough
100
lesson.
houses. Yeah,
It was a tough lesson. A lot of people had water in their houses that never even dreamed that they would be in a flood zone, and it was entirely because of these creeks.
All right. Well, it's good work. Good work you're doing, my friend. I appreciate that. We also have Sue. Eric, I really enjoy cruising. I don't mind being around a crowd of tourists. Sorry, Mac. Sue is from Nova Scotia, and she totally agrees with you, my friend.
Sue, me too. Appreciate you.
I'm keeping these land legs right here. And stay with us. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about, we have some really interesting stories. At one point, we're going to talk about capybaras. And we're also talking about rolling blackouts in Florida, which is crazy. We'll be right back in just a minute. Welcome to News 6 Tonight. We are so thankful that you're joining us here wherever you found us.
Yeah, you know what this tells me? If you have made this your new streaming destination, it tells me you're smart, also good looking, because you chose to watch the news in a different way. That makes you really smart. Anybody can give you the news from a teleprompter or an old newspaper. We do it in a fresh new way.
That's right. So check us out wherever you like to stream. We have this app for your TV, News 6 Plus. You can find it on Roku and Amazon and whatever your smart TV is cooking. So thank you. We would love to hear your comments down
Oh my
below.
gosh. Yeah.
And then we'll show them.
Yeah, we will. News 6 Plus. The plus is you.
Ooh. Welcome back to News 6 Tonight. I am joined by Eric Von Aken, weekend anchor, community correspondent, all-around awesome guy. Ginger
Very
Gadsden
kind of you.
is off this evening.
And likewise, back at you.
Thank
You
you,
guys
Mike.
know this about Matt.
No,
obviously.
they don't know that. They know me better than that. So when you hear the term rolling blackouts, what country would you picture?
So I think New York City.
New York
I
City.
mean,
That's true.
You know, because I used to live near the city, but summers, you know, sometimes it would happen.
It does,
when the
yeah.
grid,
Maybe
when the
like
grid is
a
taxed.
Venezuela or something.
Sure.
I could see.
Sure.
That's where I thought you were going to go.
Developing
with it.
nation,
You
yeah.
threw
Yeah,
me
I
a
knew you were
curveball
thinking
there.
that, yeah.
I like it, but apparently in St. Cloud,
Right.
neighbors in the Gramercy Farms neighborhood are starting to experience these blackouts. I'm not talking. We took a power hit at the station yesterday. Several of them, in fact. Not during a normal afternoon thunderstorm, but during nice sunny weather. They're losing their power, which is not what you expect in a state like Florida. Right?
Right.
So Laverne McGee, our community correspondent, she took a look at this issue down in St. Cloud, and she gives us a little more insight into what's going on here.
We're talking a rolling blackout, like 15 seconds at a time. Everything in your house goes on, everything goes off.
Kenny Boucher works from home. Lately, he and his neighbors in St. Cloud's Gramercy Farms neighborhood have been dealing with intermittent power outages, rain or shine, day and night.
Everyone was having the same experience. You're sitting there having dinner with your family, power's out, everything's off. Got to turn it back on, AC, everything reset, which is super disruptive.
OUC is the electric provider. The utility told us in part, OUC has noted this issue for the area and is investigating. Momentary outages occur more often in summer due to lightning, storms, or wildlife. If a tree branch or a squirrel contact an above-ground power line, OUC system automatically senses it and briefly opens the line. These types of momentary outages are an important tool in keeping OUC's electrical system up and running.
You like how they blame the squirrels on that? Squirrel did it, man.
Right. We just had a story. We had to fix something, getting results at home, right?
Right.
And she blamed the dog. And I looked at the cat. I said, "It's always the dog, right?"
Yeah,
sure,
that's true.
It's always the dog. So what I would like to know in this story is how many times is this happening?
Right.
Because to be fair, look, it happens in my house. That's too many. Right.
Yes.
And especially for this gentleman, he works from home. So what I know is when I'm on the computer and the power goes out, it sets you
It's
back.
stage 5
Yeah.
emergency.
Yeah. And it sets you back, what, 10, 15 minutes by the time you power it back on, and then you have to open all the windows, and, especially if that's your business, right? So is it once a day? Is it a few times a week? And to be fair, you know me, I'm very logical kind of guy.
Extra logical, this
And
guy is.
I Matt, I try and give people and organizations the benefit of the doubt, I guess, because I like to, see the best in humanity. That's not to say, OUC hasn't had complaints, but to be fair, was it storming? Was there an issue in another part of the city? Was there an issue at another place in the grid? Right, because we have reported on these what the statement said, the reset, the breakers basically that OUC and all of the Duke and Progress have installed in the last decade or so, really to prevent the power from going out for a long period of time. It's great during hurricanes. So these circuit breakers reset themselves whenever they detect some sort of short.
They're smart systems.
Smart.
Yeah.
And the idea is so you're not sitting there waiting for the truck to come out, to fix the line on your street. If they can clear a short and then the power comes back on just by, resetting themselves, like everybody wins.
Yeah.
Again, these things do happen if animals contact the lines. If a tree goes down, it happens more in storms, obviously, because trees don't fall all the time. But that's why if we knew the frequency,
I think that's a good question to
and I'm
ask
sure
in
that's
this
part of
story.
their investigation.
Yeah, absolutely. And we probably couldn't get those numbers today, I would imagine. But I'm sure people, like you said, if it happens one time, well,
It stinks. Look, it stinks. Don't
when
get me
the
wrong.
internet goes out at the Austin house, you don't want to be around. The girls, what's going on?
That's
Did
the only
somebody
time my
touch
kids notice if I'm home.
Right.
To
Can you
fix
fix
it.
the internet?
Right.
All you have to do unplug it, plug it back in. But nobody can do that except the dad.
Yeah.
That's why they keep us around.
Yeah.
And speaking of kids, you have some beautiful kids at your house. I always see them at church. Eric and I go to the same church.
Thank you. Your daughters likewise.
Thank you very much. And they're about to go back to school. Let's get these kids back to some structure. Get them out of the house a little bit. I love them. They're great having them around. But it's that time. And one of the things that a lot of districts are dealing with is a school bus driver shortage. When we were kids and we had the bus drivers, I remember thinking as a kid, like, whatever this person's getting paid,
They're not getting enough.
It's not enough. They have to be the most patient people in the world. It's an extremely tough job. I want to show a little clip of our community correspondent, Stephanie Rodriguez, as she takes a look at this issue right now.
Orange County Public Schools tells me it's down about 100 drivers. That's about the same as last year, but as the district tries to recruit, it's doing what it can to manage with the numbers it has. Right now, the district has about 550 drivers, which is about, again, 100 less than it needs to be fully staffed. One way it has been handling the ongoing shortage is with what it calls double backs. That's when a driver will do 2 runs for the same school to ensure every student who needs a ride gets one.
Definitely a big issue as we head back to school. A lot of people wondering what the weather's going to be like, not only through the weekend, but also as we start that school week on Monday. I know a guy, Jonathan Kegas. We have about a minute for you to update us on that weather situation as we head in.
It's like, where's that guy?
Oh, yeah, I jumped. That guy right there. That's the guy I know.
Good-looking guy, yeah.
Tell us, what's going on as we head into the weekend here, my friend?
Oh, you're far too kind. All right, unfortunately, we have this little tropical wave that's just chilling in Florida. It's taking its last summer vacation as well, last couple of days. Unfortunately, right here, guys, and we do have a couple of downpours out there in the mix, especially along the coast, just some light stuff around Kissimmee and St. Cloud. It's going to be kind of a repeat performance tomorrow, Sunday, and then possibly bleeding into the first day of school on Monday. So we're going to take a look at that forecast. And also kind of hot off the press with the 8 o'clock advisory from the Hurricane Center, we have a new yellow spot. This one is worth watching over the next week to 10 days. So we're going to get all into that coming up at 9:30.
I don't like the yellow spots in the snow or on the radar. Never a good thing. Jonathan Kegas, thank you very much. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with a little story about having coffee with a capybara. You'll definitely want to stick around for that. Welcome to News 6 Tonight. We are so thankful that you're joining us here wherever you found us.
Yeah, you know what this tells me? If you have made this your new streaming destination, it tells me you're smart. Also good looking, because you chose to watch the news in a different way. That makes you really smart. Anybody can give you the news from a teleprompter or an old newspaper. We do it in a fresh new way.
That's right. So check us out wherever you like to stream. We have this app for your TV, News 6 Plus. You can find it on Roku and Amazon and whatever your smart TV is cooking. So thank you. We would love to hear your comments down below.
Gosh. Yeah.
And then we'll show them.
Yeah, we will. News 6 Plus. The plus is you.
Ooh. Welcome back to News 6 Tonight. I'm joined by Eric Von Anken as Ginger has the evening off. She was in reporting early this morning, so we had to get her out of here. You ever had the desire to sip coffee with a 150-pound rat?
No.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I don't like. I don't like going to Disney myself. I set you up, and then I knocked it down. No, we're talking about a cafe in which you can play with capybaras,
right?
These giant, the biggest rodents in the world,
right?
And drink some coffee. Apparently, this is desirable for some people. Let's take a quick look at this Manuel Bojorquez story.
There aren't many places where you can pair your cup of joe with a capybara. But here at the Cabybara Cafe in St. Augustine, Florida,
we're going to be feeding the capybaras.
They are the main attraction.
You take a piece of kale just like this.
Justin Burgess is head supervisor of the animal care team.
And you just put it right there in front of their face. They're very, very gentle about it.
What is a capybara?
Capybara is the world's largest rodent. They are native to South America. Basically, you can think about a guinea pig that got to be 100, 150 pounds.
So locally, you can actually go and over to Gatorland. You go to Gatorland with the family ever. They have a capybara activity where you can go in there, you feed these things, and they are like dogs. I thought they would be kind of weird, you know, like a giant hamster or something, but they're more like a dog than a hamster.
Yeah, when you first said rodent, you know, and had coffee with a rodent, I'm thinking you could just come to my house. But that does not look like a rodent. I mean, it's like a guinea pig. I mean, you know, it's almost cuddly.
It's pretty cute.
It is, yeah.
I will tell you the one shocking part when you're with these things. My daughter loved hanging out with them, by the way, my 9-year-old, and you pet them, and they have the most coarse fur that you have ever come across.
I would have gotten that. Okay.
Yeah, no, they're not soft at all, not
Okay.
cuddly, but they're very sweet creatures, and apparently they. I don't know about mixing coffee or pastries with them though. That's a little gross to me.
That it's rodent fur. That's why. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, you don't want
not
that.
like a cat. Yeah, or dog.
Check us out tonight
I'm a
at
cat
10
guy.
and 11.